Welcome back to Purpose Built. Today's episode, engine in this big sexy beast. So, let's get into it. So as I left you last episode, we have engine all primed and ready to go. So chucked all the wiring on, as you've seen, starter motor and bits and pieces. But one bit I did forget is I need to put the speedo trigger in, which goes just in here. I made a little catch for it because I didn't have one. A little wire holder thing sits there, and run the wires up here. So chuck that in, and then we're going to jack that up and hopefully get that beast in that hole. Let's give it a go. Okay, so a bit of panel beating there. It's not the best, but I got that lip pretty close. So got that lip pretty close, and it's not too bad. It's a little bit high in here, but with the script over the back, it doesn't matter too much because it sits off about 2 or 3 mil off the back here on this edge here. So once I put the script on, which you see me put on before, it's not too bad, but it's definitely better than it was. And then this edge down here is all been banged nice and straight, so it was all wonky, so it's now a nice 90 degree. And then I jumped in here and did a few bits while I was just tinkering around. It wasn't really worth filming, so just ran the wires up there, around the back, and then I got the two up the back here. That one there is the fuel pump. It's not secured yet. I chucked these little bits in, which I'll tell you in a second, but that one goes along there, around here, hugs the nice side. I ran an earth up to this bit just because it was easier than running it up in behind there. I chopped this down as well, put two normal fuses in there and a normal 4-pin relay just because didn't want to buy the round 5 pins. They're a little bit hard to get a hold of and a bit expensive. So nice little fuse. This bit goes onto the CDI wiring that runs onto the engine bay, plugs into the bottom of this as well, which we'll find out later. Fuel filter, which I have in backwards at the moment actually, so I have to turn him around, and a new fuel line. So I made this piece up, goes round and then down into the fuel pump down there, just because the plastic one was a little bit hard and wasn't too keen on it, so just replace that. This one here is actually pretty good. Yeah, so all looking nice and tidy, ready to go. One bit I didn't explain, these little squares, they're like a little, here we go. They're a little like stick-on piece that you can run your zip tie through the middle of, or 2 ways. Yeah, just so I can run on the back there, and it can zip tie the wires out, so they're not bouncing around and chafing on anything. So loom over here, cables already in, bits and pieces, fuel pump wiring back connected. So then I jumped over here. It's the first time I think this engine's ever been manual, so pretty cool. Ran the power wire to the starter motor, and then the starter motor wire on here, and then these two run down to the reverse switch, which they're a little bullet connector that slips in, is what I found out from factory, and they're 5 mil like normal button connectors you use just to connect 2 wires together, fit in there perfectly. I've only got one at the moment, so this other one I'll plug in after I get the engine in. And then I just zip tied it on here, and then I made a little bracket on this piece just because I didn't want it flopping all around everywhere. So it's all nice and secure, not going anywhere. So pretty much we're gonna jack this up and put this in. Yeah. It is in! I'm so pleased with that. It went in pretty nice. So, a little bit orthodox, but yeah, I used the front mount here to run some rope onto a box and tackle and chained it up and then jacked the front of it up. Worked out pretty well. Got the few bits and pieces in. I worked out that I couldn't use the fuel filter I had in there. It was the wrong size, as well as it has the wrong fittings on either end. So it needs to have a 14mm inlet on either end, so that you can thread in the barbs, which make one end 14 and then the other end 16. And so this one just didn't work. So gonna have to order the proper one. So that bit's there. Whoop. There we go. That bit's there, so should be able to sort that out pretty easy when it comes to it. And then, so you see me tuck the wheels off, so now I can clean in. I'm thinking I'm going to pull the brakes apart, give them a good clean, put them back together. I probably won't rebuild the calipers, but I can at least give them a good clean and refresh, like maybe put some pads in it, see how they are. But yeah, can do that bit. I chucked the speedo sensor, which is that little bracket there, and runs a wire up into the front of the cabin. But now this big hole up in here, which I have now all cleaned up and washed, is for the big oil tank. So up here on the bench. Okay, so now gonna jump into this, pull all this tape. Oh, actually, I'll leave the tape on for a little bit. Pull this rubber gasket off. Take the other fitting off here, which I'm pretty sure is just for the Sporto part. But yeah, gonna pull it all apart and give it a clean. I think, well, I had to sleep on it, and I'm not actually gonna take it to the radiator shop. I'm just gonna get some kerosene and wash it all out and clean it all up, do the best I can, and hopefully chuck it back in the car. So, quick time lapse of cleaning this fella up. There we go, so just a little bit of a quick clean. Took the rubber piece off the top, taped up all the ends. If my camera would focus on something, please. Maybe not. Okay, you get blurry. So just gave it a quick wash with a bit of petrol. Cleaned up most of the rubbish. Now I'm just going to go over all the little bits and pieces with, the whole thing with some brake clean. Just to take off all the little bits of gunk and rubbish before I untape all the bits and wash it out with a bit of Kero. On the bench, we have it all sparkly clean. So, and just so you know, Volkswagen Combi fuel pressure, fuel level sender gasket works in the same thing. So these holes are all off a little bit. They're not equal. So it worked out perfectly. I just drilled them out a little bit, bolted it in. But yeah, everything else is perfect. So all cleaned up. I ran some kerosene through it and gave it a good wash. And then these two pieces are for the Sportomatic drive oil pump, which I've blocked this one off. This one came like this and already had this AN fitting welded on here, so I just blocked it off because I couldn't get one to block off the big hole. These two here, oil feed and oil return, so they're all ready to go and clean. Can go back down on the bottom of there when we get it in. And then the two breathers, so oil breather, and then this one comes off the airbox, and then the oil filter. So I've got the little rubber washers and everything here that go on here to bolt it in. So now we're gonna fiddle with that and hopefully get a little bit closer to making this thing run. Okay, one thing I forgot, we need to glue this fella back on. So this fella lives over top of there, on there, and so it's just was glued down. It's a little bit damaged, but once I glue it down it should be alright. It's just got contact adhesive on there and just gives it a nice seal around here between the engine and the car, sorry, between like the engine bay, which is that bit there, so it seals in around there to keep the air in the engine bay going out rather than hot air coming back in. So just gonna clean this up a little bit more, get some of this old glue off, and glue him back on there, and then we can chuck him in. I got it. So it's still a little bit up, but I can't get the contact adhesive to stick to the bottom of this. I've cleaned it with brake cleaner and Prepsol and everything, so it's just going to stay there. I can't really see it from the inside, so whatever. So it's done. Finished, complete, time to put it in. So there we go, all the oil lines all hooked up down the bottom. I'll show you in a second. But I plugged up all these. Let me get a torch. So I plugged up all of these. So I chucked the oil filter in, and so there's the top breather hose that runs into the airbox, and then the bottom one that runs off the breather at the back of the engine. So all that looking pretty good, all nice and tidy. A few bits and pieces there to finish off. But down here we have all of the oil lines put in. So you got the bottom one there, and then the one that runs up into the tank. Tank's all up. I haven't put, so I've got the rear lights out, and so there is two wires that run up into here that I haven't got in because they run through the tail light wiring. So once I chuck them in, I can wire that up. But it's all looking pretty nice in there. And then while I was at it, I pulled this down, and it's just got a little bit of corrosive stuff on there. I polished it a little bit here, so I'm just going to give it a good clean up and get rid of all the white stuff. I probably won't run this exhaust for too long. I've been talking to a few people where I used to work at the exhaust shop that I'm going to make up a new muffler and bits and pieces, because this one sounds, I don't know, I think it sounds pretty hollow. So hopefully going to give it a little bit more noise without, give it a little bit more grumble without giving it too much noise. But for now I'll chuck this on. So yeah, so jumping down here, this is where the muffler goes on the two bits that are all taped up, and these are the two exhaust hangers. They're just like a big hose clamp. Make sure the bolts are at the top so that you can bolt it up from underneath. But they're all ready to go. I have then not much to do. Got to get a fuel filter, tidy a few things up, put some oil in it, build up some oil pressure, and as well I'm going to drop anything that's left in the tank, give it a good rinse with some fresh fuel, and then prime it all up. But for now, that might have to wait until next episode, but quickly finish this off, and I think that might be the end. Porsche script, there's just like a little bit of like flake and paint, so I just just do some few light coats of black just to like hold it down, and then a nice good coat, and then because the back mounting plates had fallen off the back of the script, like they're just molded in, and they're not they don't last if it's ever been lent on or pushed very hard. The little brackets break off. So I've just got some glue on there, and I'm just going to glue them on and set it all up so that way I can bolt it on. Hey everybody, I'm sorry, I'm getting really bad at filming stuff in the shed before I come inside. And well, this time I got called away just as I was finishing up painting that Porsche script for the back of the engine. But yeah, getting really close. So next up, I'm going to be draining the fuel, chucking oil in it, checking everything leaks, and just really crossing my I's and dotting my T's and make sure I'm just getting it perfect so I can start it up. But it's so close, like. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been a long process for me, probably, it has been for you guys because I've been not putting videos up, but I just lots and lots of getting parts and fitting them all up and making sure everything's right, and then ordering the wrong ones and then have to reorder the right ones. But yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I'm so excited to get it on the road and back driving. So yeah, I'm getting there. So hopefully in the next couple of days, I'm going to jump back in the shed and finish them off, and hopefully take it for a test drive in the not too far future. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Please like and subscribe, and I'm hopefully going to make myself hopefully put out a video every 2 weeks or so. I've just been a little bit slack and a few other things in my life, but yeah, hopefully I'm just going to push myself to do it, and we're going to get there and do it. But yeah, thanks for coming along. I'll hopefully see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching.